Hello everyone! Today, as you may have guessed by the title, I will be talking about aluminum. Now, aluminum might just be one of my least favorite metals out there, just because it's very common, very weak, and kind of brittle at times. But, it's got its good parts, so I will get around to that toward the end of the video, I'm sure. But anyway, some background information. First off, aluminum is element number 13. It is in the boron group, which consists of boron, aluminum, gallium, indium, and thallium. The last few being a little on the toxic side, at least thallium is. Anyway, aluminum was, for the longest time, not really known about because it doesn't really occur in nature by itself. So not a whole lot of people knew about it. Somebody theorized its existence in the 1800s, and within a few years they were actually able to draw it out of some minerals and got this real nice, shiny, really kind of light metal. And at first it was worth a lot of money. It was worth probably more than gold, which is why the Washington Monument is actually capped in it. One would think, well, why'd they cap it in one of the cheapest metals out there? But at the time, it was actually pretty expensive. Aluminum, however, became one of the cheapest metals known to man. It is now used in a lot of lightweight applications, for instance with airplanes and cars, where they don't want to weigh them down too much. And also where quality isn't necessarily at the top of the list, and so you don't really need steel. So, pretty much a lot of cheap products, cookware and such, are made of aluminum, mostly. Even the stuff that's labeled titanium, copper, it's mainly just titanium and copper-coated aluminum. So it's not actually nearly as impressive as you think. But it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. It is impressive that we do have a metal in this cookware that only really existed in its pure form after the mid-1800s. I think it's cool anyway. One really nice thing about aluminum is, as you can tell from some of my previous videos, it casts pretty well. This is a really good ingot. I'm really proud of how it came out. It's so beautiful! Ah! This is an ingot that I made in season 2. The casting just went amazingly. It's a little bit thin, but I did make another one later, so that one was pretty fun. Speaking of molten aluminum, aluminum melts at 1,220 degrees Fahrenheit, thereabout. I think it's a little bit higher than that, but frankly at those temperatures, I just sort of lose track of the little point ... Anyway, it is also used in some thermite reactions. As you've seen in one of my other videos, I used it to sort of... I accidentally made the sun. Link to that video up in the corner of this video, by the way. Regrettably, the video that I was referencing at the time didn't quite make it. Regrettably, I lost the footage for that one, but it was also markedly non-successful. Do a semi-successful thermite reaction, and what it does in that reaction is it takes the oxygen away from the iron oxide and creates aluminum oxide and elemental iron. It's actually really cool. It is exothermic, meaning it puts out a lot of heat, so it can be one of those runaway self-sustaining reactions. Unfortunately, I didn't quite achieve that, I don't think. But it has the potential to do that. And so thermite is kind of one of those legendary chemical reactions that's just really fun to pull off. Now, aluminum by itself is not really that great. It's actually just a really bad metal, from my perspective. It does conduct electricity, but the reason why we don't use it in our wires is because it is considerably more brittle than metals like, say, copper. And, frankly, other things can be used that are better than aluminum, I think. I don't know. I'm not an electrician. I don't know what I'm talking about. Another problem that I have with aluminum is you can never tell what temperature it is. This could be on the verge of melting, and I would be none the wiser. Except it would really hurt to be holding it right now. However, because it doesn't change color, when it melts, it has this nice, cool looking gray, like shiny mirror polish to it. And that's because that is pure aluminum. See, we have a layer of aluminum oxide on the edge of this. That's just sort of a thin film that prevents corrosion, which is the next thing I'll get to, which is aluminum's corrosion resistance. Yes, aluminum does not like to corrode very much, and that's one of the reasons why I like alloying it with other things. That's why I made the distinction of saying aluminum by itself is one of my least favorite metals. Aluminum bronze is one of my favorite metals, and that's because it's bronze that's very resistant to corrosion. As far as I understand anyway, all the aluminum bronze I've ever made has not corroded, like, in the slightest. All of its oxidation was done because I heated it up. So, of course, the aluminum content also sort of defines its workability, because if there's more aluminum, it gets a whole lot more brittle. The first aluminum bronze I ever cast was not good for working. Even drilling through it was a nightmare. It was way too hard, it was way too brittle. I tried forging it and it just crumbled. So that was kind of discouraging at first, but I ended up increasing the copper content, adding in a few other things, and it is now just so beautiful. I love it. It's amazing. I have now a couple of ingots of aluminum bronze, which, you know what? I think I'll show you. Aluminum bronze. Now this, as a disclaimer, has some other fun stuff in it, like lead, a little bit of zinc, and I'm sure probably some other things too. But, as you can see, it's got that nice gold color to it. I really like this color because it looks like gold, and gold is super valuable and just a really nice metal, and I don't have an episode for it because it is way too expensive for me. However, that aluminum bronze is really good. It's really decent. I have yet to actually make anything out of it except for rings, but I do plan on making a crossguard for a sword I'm working on, as well as a pommel. So that's going to be fun to do. I'm actually really looking forward to it. I just got to melt it all together because I have another ingot sitting over here. This one to be exact. If I melt these two together, I will definitely have enough thickness for a crossguard. So, yeah. With that, I guess there's not too much else to say. I know that it's alloyed with some other stuff, like lithium, one of my favorite metals, all-time favorite metals. But that's for a different episode. So, with that, thank you for joining me. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a great day.